Pretty exciting times. In fact, we went back and looked at just what we have under grant today, grants that this board has executed. We have over $4.5 million in construction dollars that are set to go. And again, those will start here with the pavement improvement project, followed by the lighting project and the infrastructure improvements that we talked about. $4.5 million in construction.
I would say one reason that the state of Florida is so interested in our airport and maintaining our airport, and we would appreciate it, is that the airport is such a size and extent that you couldn't build that airport today. Right. So DOT is very aware of the value of that infrastructure out there, even though it's 70 years old, and they're helping us maintain it to a higher delivery than you might otherwise expect in a rural county, because that airport could not be rebuilt today.
And not only that, I think some of the interest that they've shown is our investments like the corporate hangar, where obviously the interest has not been there on the private side, but what they're trying to do is jumpstart, provide some seed money to jumpstart activity on the airport. Been very supportive, and like I said, we're excited. Not only that, we have an ambitious program following the current grants that you're under as well. We've been ambitious in terms of putting requests in 6 years out so that those grant dollars come in as time goes on. So I think it's a very optimistic and ambitious program, and a lot to look forward to there. One of the things I want to wrap up with is this opportunity we have before us. I know you'll have a Restore Act update here in a few moments, but I want to talk about a different pot of money, which is the money that was flowing through Triumph Gulf Coast. It is as most of you might be aware, it's money set aside that the state had from the BP settlement. It amounts to $2 billion coming to the state of Florida for economic recovery. We're right now $1.5 billion of that is slated for the 8 counties of the Panhandle that were disproportionately affected. That's going to be $1.5 billion over 12 years. And one of the things that we see is a real opportunity here, but to capitalize on that opportunity from an airport perspective and even from a regional perspective, we need to develop a vision. And so we're singing off the same sheet of music when we go to these entities with a request that they can see the vision here that we have for the airport. So with that said, last Tuesday, a week ago today, Beth and I sat down with Mr. Chris Holly, most of you know. We sat down, he's serving as the Economic Development Coordinator for Gulf County, and we talked about the big picture here and how we could maybe come up with some vision for the region, and it was a good opening discussion there. There's a lot of work to do, obviously, but he's certainly interested in developing some sort of Gulf Franklin County partnership, as he mentioned last board meeting. And so we had a chance to certainly pick his brain and him do the same. We gave him an update on the airport and what's going on over here. So with all that said, I sat down with Beth afterwards and her crew with the BRPH, and we talked about what we could do from an airport perspective. And what we did was we sort of quantified this effort and again, just real preliminary at this point, but there's a few things. What are some four things that we want to ask and understand? What are the things the airport has to offer industry? Number two, what are the industries that we want to go out and selectively target? And number three, what is the exact message we want to send to those industries out there when we do that? And then lastly, what's the best way to disseminate that information to industry? And a lot to be done there, to be sure. And one of the things I wanted to leave you with today is that we looked at what could be done with an airport focus in the context of the big picture. And what we'd like to do today is just simply ask for the board's support in allowing us to go back to the DOT and see if we can try to identify some funding from the DOT Aviation Office to focus on this effort. I've seen certainly their support has been in doing this type of thing. I think it would be a request they would certainly understand and support, but we would like to, I think it comes with a little more horsepower to go and talk to them, knowing that the Board of County Commissioners is behind us, looking to identify additional funds to do a selective study on economic development of the airport. So with that, I just want to tell you that we're proud of our association with the airport. We're proud of what we've accomplished, and we're excited about where we're heading.
I think the board has spoken many times about trying to job generation.
Sure.
And when you're talking about economic development, that's basically what you're speaking of. So I would think, I can't speak for the board, but my vote is to you definitely have my support to try to figure out some things that we can do out there to generate jobs for some of the citizens here in Franklin County. Although it must remain environmental friendly.
Of course.
Because of our ecosystem and our bay, but yes, I'm definitely in favor of trying to produce some jobs for the local people here, because as you know, right now, the bay's in pretty rough shape, and we have no other jobs for these people to transition to, so I'm all about that.
We're gonna have to get a motion and second on,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
I'd like some discussion.
Okay,
Just
go
a
ahead.
comment. It's a very positive report, and I think that we have a great opportunity to maximize that asset. And I think the board will support you fully on that.
I think if you look at this economic development, the Triumph Gulf Coast money, the $1.5 billion, just put things in perspective. 1.5 billion over 12 years that they're going to be using nothing for nothing except economic development. To put it in perspective, the entire program for the new airport in Panama City was less than 400 million. That was for about a 12-year program.
We're going to rain on that concept a little bit later, because it may not come. You have your happy thoughts right now.
I've heard some whispers.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
I'm gonna go along with you, but in my aspect, I'm not really, I know you got to do studies, but I like results. The studies don't matter. I need something for my people to go to work. That's what I be looking for. And we got a lot of people that they need some work, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the end result, where the people can go to work.
Well, as an engineer, we like to see the improvements as well, and that's certainly been our focus out there, was to get the infrastructure up to speed. And we think that this is we think this is an effort that would be as much as I like you said, to put things in the ground. We think this is a needed effort to focus our energy so we're all singing off the same sheet of music.
I understand it got to be done.
One comment real quick before we take a vote. Is our airport manager involved with this process? You see where we're going, and because we're looking at you as our airport manager to actually, be involved in the process.
Absolutely, and I think that the board made that very clear when I came on board, that was part of my responsibility as economic development, and I'm excited about the future of what we've got going on. I think it's going to lend itself to what we all want here, and that's economic development at the airport. It is a tremendous asset. In my professional experience and expertise in the aviation world, it is an absolute tremendous asset that I don't think everybody fully understands, and we want to bring light to that.
All right, I have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All I can say is I've been dealing with these pots of money. There's a lot of people after it.
Yes, sir. We'll focus our efforts on the DOT aviation program. Thank you.
All right, planning and zoning.
Morning again, Commissioners. There was one item on the planning and zoning agenda reports. It was a consideration of a request for commercial site plan review to place 7 commercial storage units on Lot 1, Block 7, David Brown Estates. And it's at 32 Island Drive. It's the corner of Island Drive and Hatfield Road. It's in East Point. The request was submitted by Chris Varnes. There was a unanimous approval contingent upon the application shifting 3 storage units off Hatfield Road 8 feet to the east, so he can at least have a 20-foot parking area between both storage units on Island Drive and Hatfield Road.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor, all in favor?
One
Okay, yes,
comment
sir.
real quick.
Yes, sir?
Mr. Barnes, you here representing yourself?
Yes.
Please come forward to the podium. You do understand the contingencies placed upon this project, and you're willing to comply with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only question I have.
Yes, sir.
Only question I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
take a vote now.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all need a break.
Let's go ahead and finish it.
Board of Adjustment,
Okay, there also was one item at the Board of Adjustment, and I wasn't there, Attorney Schuler was there, but I'll read the request. It was for a variance to construct 186 linear feet wooden retaining wall on lots 5 and 6, Breezy Point subdivision, also known as 719 and 715 Mill Road. The retaining wall will be constructed in 2 segments measuring 166 linear feet and 20 linear feet, separated by an existing 14 feet wide boat ramp located on lot 5. The retaining wall will be placed no more than 3 feet waterward of the existing riverbank within the landward extent of New River. The request is being submitted by Mr. Dan Garlick. He's an agent for Gary Surface. Dan, correct? There was approval with some contingencies, as you see in your report. Let me say, before that, there was one objection by the neighbor because of the enclosement of the project, which, from what I understand, was done illegally, correct, Mr. Schuler, Attorney Schuler? Or we let Dan talk first, huh? All right, Dan.
Mr. Dan.
Good morning. Yes, that's true. It was illegally done.
Okay, and that's what the neighbor
It was
objected to.
illegally done?
Yes.
Okay.
And the contingency is to, well, I'll read all 3 for you. Bring the existing structure which exceeds limits of permits issued by both state and local permits into compliance within 30 days. Require an inspection from the building department to document the structure is in compliance prior to issuing the retaining wall permit. And finally, if the structure is not brought into compliance, no permit will be issued for the wood retaining wall. Now, Dan, I guess you could
Are you gonna be able to meet all these,
contingencies?
I met my client after the meeting. Unfortunately, I was not even aware of what he was doing with that building out there. It was supposed to be a boathouse. So when I saw the pictures, that was the first time I saw it, and I thought, okay. But basically, I had a meeting with him afterward. He said he will comply with, he was a little shocked that his deal was everybody else has done it on the river, why can't I? And I feel very good that the county is now taking some court enforcement, because that's what I usually try to do with these things. And like I say, if I'm involved in these things, this doesn't happen. If the contractor's involved and it's out of my hands, well, then there's not a whole lot I could do about it other than advise them on what they're allowed to have. And it was strictly in the rules, and the permits were there. I just was really surprised that he did it. So I do have his attention. The county has helped out with that. I hope that the county also does, continues with compliance. Matter of fact, the neighbor, I think we also talked about in the meeting, is that the neighbor who, I guess you'd say turned him in, also has a compliance issue, and I'm assuming that we're also looking at that one.
The building inspector.
Yeah.
The building
That was
official
a
is, yeah.
serious violation of wetlands fill.
Yes.
Okay.
so moved.
Well, wait a minute, wait a minute.
You're gonna make sure it's done right.
Wait a
Yes,
minute,
yes, sir.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got some questions.
Here, go ahead.
You've got the address being 719 and 715, and this rang back in my brain a little bit because, didn't some of this property belong to Al Simpler, Dan?
Yes.
And isn't it not 748 Mill Road?
I'm going by what the tax appraisers.
The reason why I said it is I'm looking up here on the property appraiser's website, and it says 748 Mill Road.
It's if you know where Al Simpler built his house, okay, it's the 2 lots upriver from there. That's the 2
But
lots.
it's saying 748 Mill Road.
Yeah, I'm going with,
I'm just saying, I want to make sure the address is right and that you're talking about the right thing. And was this, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
How long have you been on this project? When were you coming?
probably about a year.
About a year?
Right.
Was this building built before the present owners obtained it?
No,
So they knew, okay, so they did.
Oh, they-
Al Simpler and them didn't do it then?
no.
Okay.
No, there was a, on each of these lots, there were 2 docks, small ones, real small. And basically, those were torn down. We had to get a permit for the demolition plus the building of the structure that was permitted. And I think Al Simpler may have built those as well. I'm not sure where they were, but there were something there before he
And
built
it don't
those.
have any houses on it?
No, it sure doesn't.
Al built them 2 little docks.
Yeah. He also built whatever that
Yeah.
thing is downriver from there that has his thermoelectric in there. And I'm a little disappointed with Mr. Simpler because there are, like I say, there's some issues out there that he also needs to deal with, and I'm assuming the county will assist me in that too.
And just to clarify, y'all do realize this was, Dan's drawing is what it was supposed to be, and the picture shows where it's enclosed. That's why we include them in your packet, so you can see the difference.
It's supposed to have fallout, I mean, it's not supposed to have any walls,
That's
Exactly,
correct.
Commissioner.
No walls.
no walls.
No air
Anybody who lives on
conditioning
the
unit.
coast knows that. No walls.
So what Board of Adjustment is asking is that you approve their recommendation, you know, with all the contingencies. I want to
Okay.
clarify that.
Give them 30 days to redo this structure that you see in the picture, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll be out there this afternoon. He says he started, so I'll be out there this afternoon and see how the progress is going.
And we will, and if this does not happen, then we won't move forward with anything else, right?
That's right.
Mr. Sheila? Okay.
No, we'll stop it.
Discussion a little bit.
Yes, sir.
We don't
Okay.
have a second on the motion at this point. We have a
All right.
motion, no second.
I'm gonna second with discussion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's gonna open up a can of nail. And if we approve this on contingent, is we going and is we gonna make the other come up to code? I mean, 'cause they gonna go to first, your neighbors and everything. So if he got to be in compliance, if we going to the next man to get them in compliance.
If we get a report.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else out of compliance up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the only structure I know that's out of compliance up there.
I think Commissioner Lockleig's talking about the adjacent owner.
Right.
The applicant complained that the adjacent owner that was complaining is also out of compliance. I'll double check, but the office told me that they did have, Robin did check it, and he's saying it was not out of compliance. But any complaint we get, Commissioner, yeah, Robin goes out there and,
Well,
Who's the adjacent property owner that complained?
the name I don't know.
Al Simpler.
Attention. you
With
know-
the Al.
That's what he just said. That's what he said earlier, it was Al Simpler that
and
complained. on
Al,
his
Al's
own.
got some muddy feet on this
Oh,
one.
okay.
But Dan, that's Al Simpler.
Yes, he is.
He sold the land and turned around and complained on it.
I've known him for years.
I mean, what I'm saying.
We're gonna have some fun to get this whole thing squared away, but I will assure you, my client will get his ducks in a row.
I don't want to approve this one, and he come back, all right, y'all made me do it, and the next man ain't.
He sold the land to that man, then he turned around and complained on that man.
Yeah,
That's
Well,
where it
that's the
happened.
reason why I had the questions in my mind, and that's the reason why I went back and I said, well, wait just a minute. Because I remember when all Breezy Point and all that was approved, and I know Al Simpler, and so that's the reason why I asked the questions.
All right, did you give a
the way
second,
life
Mr.
works.
Noah?
yeah.
All right, I got a motion second on the floor, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess and come back.